Welcome back to the SCIF. I am Matt. That is Stu. We got a big show ahead of you. This is the Green Beret Life. Thank you for joining us here again. We're on YouTube, Rumble, and Odysee. Correct, Stu?
Absolutely, all three.
All right, we're on all three. We're gonna be here on YouTube for a little bit. Our goal here at YouTube, because YouTube sucks, is to get people that are viewers here over there. So we're going to have a link below so you guys can get it. I know you guys hear this same spiel every time, but we have to go through it every time. You hear us bloviate about freaking YouTube. YouTube sucks. Why does YouTube suck, Stu?
Because Arkansas blows. I mean, no, wait, that's Texas. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there you go. I thought that was Georgia and Alabama, right?
No, that involves Mississippi and Alabama cousins, I think.
Okay,
that's Mississippi and cousins.
But YouTube sucks because we know why they suck. They've pretty much demonetized anybody that doesn't go along with the leftist, globalist, woke narrative. In addition to that, they're singling out people that have a conservative bent, and they are trashing their channels. They've been doing this for years. Straight up kicking people off, straight up censoring what we speak. They're using organizations like Southern Poverty Law Center, which are radical left-wing Marxist organizations, to issue strikes on channels. So unless you're pushing the mainstream narrative or the globalist woke narrative, they're going to basically fuck with your channel. And this is what they've done all along, allegedly, right? And it's just a horrible platform. They take money from the federal government, and still they're involved with censorship. You can't do that. And it's not just, they're not just acting in the role of a private corporation, in my opinion, right? So this is why anybody that's in outdoors type of deal, political, shooting, fishing, hunting, a lot of sports talk, anything that doesn't fit their current narrative, they're gonna punish you because the platform is so big and successful. So why doesn't everybody just go over and start a channel on Rumble? I mean, that's really, we got to start changing our habits and getting over. That's the only way these big corporations are gonna feel the pain when they start losing, 20% of their viewership. So, anyways, that's why. So, what do we have on the docket for the show tonight, Stu?
We have several different things. We've got one that's a carryover from the past few weeks. Looks like the DOJ is actually filing charges on the Representative McIver for her part in the,
I would call her
the attempted insurrection and raid on government facilities in New Jersey.
She came out of the New Jersey school system. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? She somehow got elected, I believe, to Newark's city council, and then while she was working for the schools, and now she's a representative, and she won that race. I looked it up. She won that race by like 80%. This woman is a freaking moron. You'll see her when she's interviewed. She ran to CNN today, but we've got a video that's going to very clearly show her pushing and punching people. But you're going to see, she's a lumpy fuck on top of everything else. So just wait till you see this bitch. Nobody is above the law, right? Okay. She thinks this is going to work out.
That's what they want to say whenever they're talking about a Republican, but whenever it's one of them that's done something, you're weaponizing the judicial system. It's funny how that squeal happens.
She's a peach. She's a peach. Just wait. So anyways, that video sort of explains everything. So she can get away with hitting and pushing people. That's what she thinks. Again. So
the other story we have here, Yeah, the other story we have here is one out of the UK, and we've touched on this before with the UK and now their thought crimes and tweet crimes and everything else. And we're gonna talk about one of those that is just absolutely bizarre. But we'll talk about that. Venezuela. Trump has had his envoy go down and come back with 6 Americans that were being held in Venezuela on for various
Well, one today.
up
One today. I
concerns.
think 6 total over the last. The media's not covering this, of course. And Rick Grinnell
Yeah.
is leading that charge. So we have an Air Force, one of Stu's guys over there.
But yeah, I think they got 6 citizens released on Friday, is what the story's saying. So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
that's outstanding. We're going to talk about that. And the SCOTUS has permitted Trump to terminate the temporary protected status program for Venezuelans that are in the country.
It
And
was
they're
set
actually
up by
looking at
some
doing it for
bogus
Afghans as
program.
well.
So yeah, some bogus program set up by. Well, we don't think Biden. It was somebody, whoever had control of the autopen. This is getting interesting because we're going to talk about this tonight too.
It is. That's one that's definitely going to have to wait until we bounce off of YouTube.
Mm-hmm. So,
And that's pretty much what Matt said was the other one is what's really shown up here about Biden in the past couple of days. The health diagnoses that have come out, which then throw a lot of questions on what were the Democrats' actual plan for if he had won this presidency. What or who was doing all of this if he were incapacitated with treatments or with medications or whatever. What was going on?
Does anybody believe he was just diagnosed with this? The common consensus is he's had this for years, especially to the point where they want you to believe he hasn't had his prostate checked since 2014. It does. I mean, you don't get an honest answer out of them. That is so beyond the pale. And if that's the case, arrest his doctor right now for malpractice. Yeah. That is the doctor dealing with the president or the resident of the United States. Arrest his ass right now. Bring him in front of Congress, and then maybe when he has the threat of jail hanging over his head, maybe he'll let a little bit of the truth fly on what was going on, because nobody in their right mind believes that this was and it's so convenient now with all the books coming out and the Her tapes coming out. This guy
was not in his book about how did we miss this. Yeah,
this guy was not in control of his mental faculties for his whole presidency. He wasn't doing a damn thing. There was an interview with Mike Johnson that I just saw today where he was in there talking about a specific bill. And he said, oh, no, it was over natural gas or something. And he said, no, I didn't do that. And Mike Johnson's like, yes, you did. Did you see this? He's like, yes, you did.
Yeah,
and he says he had no idea what the hell I was talking about. And he just signed the bill. And this is why I'm like, holy smokes. We got a president who doesn't even know what the hell's going on.
Here's the thing that's completely and totally unbelievable to me. There's a simple blood test. As a matter of fact, I just had mine done a couple of weeks ago. I went and had my yearly checkup. Doctor's like, hey, go get this panel of blood test. It's literally a blood test. It's a PSA blood test. What is it? Prostate specific antigen blood test. That's it. That's the extent of the test. So you're telling me that
didn't yours come back that you weren't born with a prostate?
No, I was. But the thing that kills me is it's a simple blood test. And as president, and especially someone of his age, when they're probably running regular health screenings and everything else, that's not a box that's checked on anything. And do you remember whenever there were pictures of Biden and he had like these bruises on his hand and stuff, and where it looked like IVs and that sort of thing, and they were like, "Oh no, he something." Was he being treated at that time? Was that what was going on?
Of course he was. And nobody believes this. Nobody believes it.
Troy said Biden has had his head up his own ass. He should have self-diagnosed.
Yeah, exactly. It continues to be a complete clown show. What they're doing now is to obfuscate from and obviously garner sympathy. What they're trying to do now is get away from the fact that he was not in control of his mental faculties. He was not running the country. And now they're going to start digging into this autopen, because we need to know everything signed with that autopen is going to be null and void. This is a complete disaster. They better get to the bottom of this right now. I'm so sick of Republicans in the House and in the Senate not doing shit right now. Now we got to get this bill passed, but the bill sucks, right? With spending, it sucks. But we've got to get it passed because of all the things in the bill to start moving forward to ignite Trump's plan to get this economy going. And then obviously we're going to have to revisit this later and take care of it. So, because we need the things that are in the bill, like the tax cuts and the things to get Trump's economy, we have to pass the bill. So,
well, here's the thing, Matt, with the autopen is all of this stuff that was signed by Biden with the autopen. I could see an argument for its use if, say, the president were in Japan and some critical piece of legislation gets passed and it needs to be signed into law.
There should be some sort of verification saying he is doing it.
But that's my point. Biden wasn't in Japan. He was in DC.
Yeah.
Why? So why was the autopen used if he's available? He's physically on location.
They started this autopen under Obama. They did it at the very end, and I think they did it for this type of scenario to normalize it. The whole thing is so beyond the pale. They've got to get to the bottom of it. And obviously, James Comey was in the news again, that asshole. Okay.
Oh, the 8647. And he's like, what? I don't know what it means.
I don't know what that meant.
Well, I'm former director of the FBI, and I'm not sure what mob slang means.
Assholes. Yeah. So anyways,
idiots.
It's a complete freaking clown show. We do want to mention real quick, we're not going to get into big detail, but Trump and Hegseth laid out the new Golden Dome today. It's going to cost something like $274 billion, but it's going to be set up, the Trump is saying, within the next 3 years. So before he leaves office, unless he runs again in 28, right? And it's going to stop hypersonic missiles, right? And this should be interesting. And this is the type of innovation and technology that we do need. So this is a continuation of Ronald Reagan's Star Wars. We didn't have the technology back then. We've got it now, and we need to start acting. And we need to get our economy up and going and really breaking stride. And then we can deal with this other bullshit. Right now, Congress should be lining up behind Trump and just getting on board with his agenda. Trump is at 55% approval. That's with bullshit polls, so it's probably higher than that. And everything Trump touches pretty much turns to gold. So Congress and the Senate need to get off of their asses and get behind Trump's agenda. And if they don't get behind Trump's agenda, you know what needs to happen in the midterms? They need to go.
They need to be primaried.
They need to be frickin' primaried. So that's where we're at.
Off of YouTube over to Rumble and Odysee.
Why are we bouncing off of YouTube?
Because they suck.
They suck. Exactly. Perfect. I couldn't have said that any better, Stu.